Hit me with your best shot.
Well, Hart said you were going to be the one to tell us who the starting quarterback was, so. So it sounds like going in with kind of a two quarterback plan, and what kind of advantages and challenges are there as a coordinator, knowing you kind of got that at your disposal?
Well, the advantages are I know exactly what we're going to do, for each guy, and get those guys those reps and play to their strengths. And I don't know that anybody else does. I don't think the outside world does, and they don't get to watch these guys practice. And so, we'll have a little bit of new things for them that they're not quite ready for. So that'll be positive. Yeah, it'll be good.
What kind of challenge involved in using?
Well, you just don't know what you're going to get from those guys yet. As far as live bullets on a away game, hostile crowd, and all that stuff. So, there's still a lot of growing to happen, and so yeah, the unknown.
The fact that they're so different, or at least they appear to be different, with one of them more of a running quarterback, how does that change when they have their own plays and stuff? I mean, how does that aspect of it make it more difficult, I guess, to put in a game plan for the offense?
I don't really – they're a little bit different. I don't think they're as much different as been made out, just because they both run the same plays. When you go back and watch, they ran a lot of the same plays. They put their own twist on it, and that's what any good quarterback does. So they're not all that different. It's just what they add to it when they run that play, what they see. Brett did a great job finding his check down. Tommy did a great job running with his feet. Both of them were effective at doing that. So it won't be – you're not going to see triple option with one and, something with the other. That's not how we do it. We're going to run our offense, and we'll play to their strengths, but it won't be drastic.
For their debuts, let's start with Brett. He goes 8 of 9, and the only incompletion was probably a smart incompletion that he made.
Yeah, threw away or ball in the red zone.
Yeah, just this kind of poise that he showed out there throughout the whole thing, and staying in the pocket and whatnot.
I thought he did a good job. Yeah, the one thing he did was he handled the tempo really well. He pushed the guys to get lined up, and made a really nice deep ball throw, hit Holden over the middle, hit a check down, hit a bubble screen. So yeah, he did a nice job managing the whole thing. He was ready. He was prepared. He was confident. That's the thing I saw at halftime. And so yeah, it was good. It was what. I guess it's really as good as you hoped it could have been, but that was last week, and this is a totally new week and a totally different set of problems.
You talk about tempo, and I noticed when he was in, there wasn't a whole lot of even substituting or anything like that. It was just kind of get up and go.
Yeah.
Was that on him, or was that on you? Or
no, that was on us. Yeah, we just were going, and when we go, when you sub, the defense has a chance to match it. So, and they were doing, I don't know if y'all could tell, they were trying to start out with 12 on the field, and then we would change personnel. They would put a different group on, and it actually cost them down there in the red zone on a third down. I think Brett was actually in because they had 12 on the field. They got caught with 12 on the field. But yeah, they were trying to match a lot of our personnel, so we just said, all right, we'll see if you can match the speed.
There was a play where you guys subbed, you guys were lined up, and I want to say like Shane, Chaz, and Spurvick went off the field, and you brought 3 tight ends on the field, and you moved Reese over to the right side.
Yeah, we actually had 7 offensive linemen in the game. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a creative.
Yeah, I was just trying to be, trying to establish some run game and get downhill and do something a little different, just change up.
Knowing that you're going to have a new quarterback going in this game, how does that help you for Virginia games, for their game plan, not knowing, having not much film on you, like where you can separate yourself?
I don't really know, to be honest, because I'm not in their meetings. I got no idea what they're thinking. I really don't. I don't know. Their defensive coordinator, forgive me if I mispronounce his names, but I believe it's Tenuta, is a very well-established defensive coordinator. He's been very successful his entire career. He's been at Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, North Carolina State. I think he played football at Virginia, so he's home. He's very sound. I don't think this is going to be anything that's going to catch him really that by surprise. He's been in the business long enough, so I don't know if there's any type of advantage on that. They do what they do. They're really good at it, so we gotta do what we're gonna do.
Harsin was saying that he didn't think you guys were going to do the kind of 2 quarterback system until he saw how both played in that game. How did actually seeing both those guys play in the game, I guess, change or alter or kind of look at your thinking moving forward in that game in particular? And do you have much experience with a 2 quarterback system or in the past?
Well, first thing, there was a lot made about Brett and his performance, but the reality is Tommy had never played in a college football game before either, and so, I mean, he gets in there and runs a play that, I don't know if he ever specifically repped in practice. He got the practice reps where we do it in individual, and, I mean, he handled it really well, and then to lead us on that scoring drive, he had three touchdown drives. He also had 2 punts, but the punts were, they were some issues that we got to get corrected anyway, so they weren't all on him. He played well, and he handled the situation well and made some really good decisions on 3rd downs. And then, yeah, Brett came in and performed well, too. Yes, I've done the 2 quarterback deal before. We'll just see how it goes. If one guy gets the hot hand, it's kind of like a running back. You usually let him get in there and just keep it rolling. So, I don't know that it'll be like Steve Spurrier in every other play when he was back at Florida with Jesse Palmer and Schottenheimer, but who knows?
What's Tommy kind of bring in terms of like charisma and whatnot? And when when he was kind of recruited here, you guys needed some numbers at that position. And then, how much of a project has he been in? How much has he grown?
He's grown a whole lot, especially being the student of the game and understanding our offense and coming in and spending the extra time to learn the offense. He's got a great personality. People like him. Our team likes him. They rallied around him and Brett. I thought they rallied around Ryan. They wanted to win that game for him, make sure everything was good. And I don't know if Tommy's been a project. There's always growth with any freshman or kid that's recruited here. So I think he's been developed.
And not only is he in this situation, but he's also going pretty close to home this week. What do you think this week is going to be like for him?
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting for him, and he's asking for a lot of tickets from all his buddies. I know, and he's played a lot against a lot of these guys in high school, and so or knows of them, and so I'm sure it's going to be exciting, but you got to do a great job managing your emotions and staying in the moment.
You look around college football, and there might be more true freshman quarterbacks playing now than ever, at least in recent history. As you look at what happens out there, what are the challenges? What are maybe some of the benefits to just going and letting those guys play as true freshmen?
Well, the benefits are always the experience. There's no reps better than game reps and seeing it live and experiencing all the things. There's only so many things you can duplicate in a practice or a scrimmage. So those guys are getting live reps, and they're able to do things that they need to do. Experience and failures are the best teacher, and that's the biggest struggle with a true freshman or even a young quarterback is experience and failures. There's going to be some mishaps. There's going to be some things that what are you thinking? You can't do that, or you got to do this, and that's where it's going to be on myself and this to get these guys ready. And try to cover as much as I can, but at the same time, don't paralyze them, with trying to overthink it.
With a situation like this where you got 2 very inexperienced guys, is it tough being in the press box and not being able to be down there and talk to them face to face?
No, because we got Coach Harsin down there who's coached a bunch of great quarterbacks, and so he's going to give as good advice or better than I am. So, I don't worry about that. I talk to him between series on the phone and communicate what we're doing anyway, so that won't be an issue. That won't be an issue.
2 or 3 games in, where do you assess your offense? What are you liking out of it? What needs to be cleaned up still?
Penalties, and sacks. Those are the glaring issues that just keep me. They rub me wrong, to be honest with you, and I'm really sick of it. Tired of costing ourselves 5 yards because we can't wait on a snap count, and I'm tired of giving up sacks that they're not exotic blitzes or something that we shouldn't do. And it's not. I'm not pointing fingers. It's on everybody. It's on the quarterback. He took 2 bad sacks in that game. 100% on him. and there was one that the protection wasn't the way it needed to be, and that stuff, it quite frankly, it's ticking me off, and so that's got to get corrected. We're not we're not explosive enough to overcome those things. The good things, we had 17 explosive plays last week. We had somewhere over 10 the week before, even though we lost. We had somewhere like 9 or 10 against UW. So we're getting yardage in chunks, which is good. We're scoring. We've had several drives well over 80 yards. And then when we play with tempo, we're pretty good. I think there was a drive in the third quarter that we had like 8 plays in a minute 45 and went 70-something yards or something. I mean, I don't know all the stats. That'll be Jay's deal to figure out. But, that was pretty good. And that's those things. If you can do those, you're going to be okay. So we're showing the ability to get yardage in chunks, and we're showing the ability to control the ball and score and play with pace. And that's really the design of what we're trying to do. We just got to be more consistent and can't give up sacks, can't give up penalties. That's undisciplined.
Other than the score, is there a stat or something you look at that helps you define if you felt like the offense performed well or not?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stats, but the glaring ones are turnovers, third downs, red zone efficiency, explosive plays, and those are the kind of ones we look at to see. We were 60% on third down, which is pretty good. We were 7 of 8 in the red zone. Probably should have been 8 of 8, but that's pretty good. I think it was 80-something% touchdown percentage, which is pretty good. And like I said, we had 17 explosive plays. So those are the things that you look at that are good. We didn't have any turnovers for the first time this year, which is a huge point of emphasis for us.
You
What do
have,
you think of the run blocking on Friday night and the impact that inserting Travis in that starting five now?
Travis played well. We graded out pretty high. There's still some continuity that needs to take place with that group, and they got to get there. They got to get there quick because we don't really have any more time to wait. They need to be ready to gel. Coach Huff he's the best offensive line coach I've been around, and so that guy gets them right. He's got them right, and he sees the big picture and is getting these guys in the best positions for us to be successful long term. And in that second half, that thing really came together nicely. It really did. And even in the first half, there were some really good runs. But in that second half, there were holes that BJ probably could have ran through.
hey now.
So.
How about the balance in the running game, and would you consider using BJ against Ricky? No, I'm just kidding. Devin continues to make kind of explosive plays. Kelsey kind of continues to break tackles. McNichols continues to kind of develop all around you. Coming in, I know they're kind of wondering how they might split things up, but it seems like you guys have obviously found a little rhythm with those guys now.
Yeah, we just got to continue to do a better job of making sure those guys get the touches they need. But, yeah, there's a rhythm, and they all have different strengths. I thought Kelsey really came in and ran hard, broke some tackles, and it kind of lit a spark in Jeremy. Jeremy ran violent in the second half and broke some tackles to score his touchdowns and had a big run he broke a safety's tackle. We're going to need to continue to see that. And then, yeah, Devin's explosive. Couldn't believe he got caught on that one. But, yeah, they're playing at a high level. They got to continue to focus on details, though. They're not where they need to be. There's things when the ball is not in their hands that they've got to be better at, and that's the thing we're focusing on. And that's really what's separating the most amount of playing time. It's who can we count on when the ball's not in their hand to do their job at a high level, and they know it, and the offense knows it. Without Ryan, everybody's got to do their job a little bit better than they've done it before, and that's me, and that's everybody. We've all got to do a little bit better job, and a lot's been made about Brett and Tommy being young. At the end of the day, they got 2 less games than Ryan did, so we're all pretty young at this, and we'll all learn and grow together, and we're going to give it the best shot we got. I know that.
Do you have friends or colleagues in the coaching profession that have played a team you're going to play? Do you reach out and ask them what worked or didn't work? Or?
Just depends. sometimes there's sharing of information, sometimes they're not. It just depends on, what relationships that coach might have with the other coach. It's different dynamic. But no, right now we're focused on doing what we need to do, and I gotta figure out what's best for us as far as our quarterback situation. I don't have a lot of time to shoot the bull and talk on the phone.
When you guys were looking at Brett and deciding whether to play him this year, what were the couple things that you really wanted to see out of him to convince you that he could handle it at this young age? You could put him out there in a game.
Poise, maturity. He really had a pretty good fall camp. Didn't have a lot of turnovers. Completion percentage was high. And his just competitive nature, not willing to just come in and say, okay, I'm in a red shirt. I mean, he came in and competed every day. So, and at the end, I mean, the other thing is sometimes you just get an opportunity. Sometimes there's just an opportunity for you, and you got to be ready for it. And there's an opportunity. So now it's up to those two guys to be ready for it and let it go.
What kind of role will Ryan play with him being out possibly 8 weeks with what Harsin said? Will he travel with the team? Will he be on the sideline?
We haven't made any decisions yet. There's still some things out there as far as with the doctors and all that to evaluate and make more decisions. His role for me right now is to get better, to help me. He was really good watching film and giving me ideas and telling me things, and so I continue to expect that to occur and really be a coach. And we talked about when Ryan was the quarterback that everybody had to rally around him because it's the quarterback position at Boise State. It's the tradition of that position. It's not just about one person. It's about the entire tradition. And so we represent the past history of quarterbacks that have played at Boise State. And so our job was to make sure Ryan was prepared. And so now the shoe's on the other foot. He's not going to play, but he is still a quarterback at Boise State. And so whoever it is, Tommy or Alex or Brett or anybody that's out there playing quarterback, it's our job to make sure they're prepared because he represents all of us.
Two more guys.
It's nice to, I mean, targets-wise, it's probably kind of close to what he had the first 2 games, but nice to see, obviously, Spurbeck get going a little bit. I mean, almost 100 yards receiving the other night.
Yeah, Thomas is a good player. And Thomas is one of those guys that really helps us on offense when he's catching the football and doing some good things. He had that really nice deep ball from Brett, which was good to see, and he had a couple of underneath catches. And so, yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good to see Shane continue to make plays, and Holden Huff made plays. The thing I like about this right now, and I know that people are making like, oh, he's getting it, he's not getting it. The best thing is everybody's getting it. On our offense right now, everybody's touching the ball. So I don't know who you're targeting. I don't know who you're saying you got to take away. And to me, that's the sign of a good offense. It's not just one person. Now, when you have a guy who's dominant, yeah, he's got to touch the ball. But right now, and I have no idea because I haven't seen today's stats because our Wi-Fi and everything was down for a while. But, I mean, I think I know Chaz had catch. I know Shane had a catch. I know Spurbeck had catches. I know Holden Huff had several catches. I know Jake Rowe had catches. Lucero had catches. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who y'all are going to ask me about next to get touches, but we'll sure try.
Was it nice to see? I know you weren't here last time he got in the end zone, but it's been 3.5 years.
He didn't get in last year?
Huh?
Yeah.
No.
12.
Yeah.
But we tried to last year. I know that. I remember watching a couple tapes where he should have. Yeah, good for him. But and I'm weird. I guess I'm weird. I don't know. I really don't care who gets in the end zone as long as the offense gets in the end zone. That's just how I'm designed, I guess. I've always been about the team, and it's never really been about the individual. It's about the team, and that's how my parents raised me. I got 5 brothers and sisters, and it was all what's best for our family, what's best for our team, and whether it's Holden scoring or Jake Rowe or Jeremy McNichols or whoever. I really don't. It doesn't matter. As long as the offense is scoring and we're winning the football game, that's what's important. So, you know, we're not trying to design the play so that we can make sure this guy or this guy gets his touches or his. We're not. That's not the culture of this football team. The culture is winning and team first mentality. And as long as that continues, we'll be fine. And all the stats are good, and everybody who steps up has great individual performances. But you know, we're not trying to specifically design. It's just if it happens, it happens. And for him, that was a good play, and he had executed it plenty of times in practice. In fact, it was the exact play. We ran that play against Air Force, and it was an overthrow last year. I remember that. He should have scored last year on that.
All right, thanks, Eli.
See you later.
You don't see me run apparently.